Hello and welcome back. I'm Lisa.
And I'm Erin.
And this is the Getaways Podcast. And we have Meghan here today.
Hello.
Yay!
Like you're pretty much becoming a regular guest star.
I feel very official.
You should have your own microphone, your own chair. And that is Erin's stomach. All right. So we're going a little bit off the norm today. And we're going to discuss the expectation versus the reality of moving to Europe.
Okay.
All right. You guys just want to dive in?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is Lisa. I made up these questions. I will answer them as well, but Meghan and Erin have not heard them before. So
we have not thought of quick, quirky answers.
So it will not just totally be a coincidence that I sound smarter, but I have seen them before.
Damn.
All right. What is the biggest misconception you think people have in the U.S. about moving to Europe?
I feel like people that have not traveled feel that nowhere is like America and that America is the greatest place on earth. I'm not saying it's not a great place, but there's so many other places that are just as great, if not better.
And for different reasons.
Yeah. But I feel like you grow up being told the best place in the world. We did this, we did that. And then you get outside of it and some of the things you learn aren't really true.
Well, and I would say that that's true even for some people who have traveled. Because when you travel, you're in a bit of a bubble, right? You know, you're not living life like a person who lives here.
Yeah.
You know, you're seeing all the bits that are exposed to you as an outsider.
Yeah.
So I have a very different answer from you, but go ahead, Meghan, you go first.
I think the biggest for living here, right?
Yeah.
I think that I don't know if you guys want to get into those, but like I always heard if you live in Europe, the taxes are way higher and you have to wait forever for healthcare.
Yeah.
And from California, my taxes are about the same. And the healthcare is also about the same. Like all at the end of the day, I think it comes out to about the same.
I feel like taxes are a bit higher, but coming from California with state taxes and federal taxes, they're not. It's the same. And I don't feel personally that the wait times are that much different than America.
For doctors
or surgeries. Well, sometimes for surgeries, but depending on like what kind of surgery. But I feel like even though they say it's higher taxes, the free healthcare or the very cheap healthcare makes up for all of it.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, it all works out the same. Even though my salary is technically lower here, I have the same amount in my pocket at the end of the month.
Which is actually another question on my list, which is the cost of living what you anticipated it being? Now, we came from Italy, which less. Which
when we moved to the Netherlands from Italy, we felt like we started paying more. But then when we've gone down to Italy, we're paying more. So right. I think that we moved in a time where inflation was happening all over Europe. We still pay way less than America. Like somebody posted a pound of beef yesterday on Instagram, and it was like $17 in the United States.
For a pound, which is what, like 500 grams?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Which is about €7
here.
Euro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's clean here. There's no antibiotics in the beef here.
Yeah.
We're going to get in trouble with this podcast, people.
Well, but it's not. It's just the reality.
Yeah.
I mean, it's we're not making up prices.
We're not making up prices, and we're not making up differences in chemicals and stuff that are put in the food.
Yeah. No, I mean,
it's just a fact.
Yeah.
I would say like for food for me, like I would go crazy at the grocery store at home and it would be about $100 and here I go wild. And it's the same stuff. It's like snacks, a couple of meals, a couple bottles of wine. It's expensive. It's an expensive day for me if I spend €40 at the grocery store. And that's like I bought everything, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And, obviously right now too, I feel like the prices are fluctuating still a bit from inflation, but, going and buying food for, a 24-hour period is about 30 for us.
For 3 people.
Yeah. which, I don't really know how that compares except for your beef comment, but like, I don't really know what that means, but I feel like when people come here, okay, down the dollar is a little bit low right now in the conversion, but I feel like when people come here, they're like, oh, it's not expensive. And it maybe is a little bit more now because the dollar is not as high as it usually is.
Yeah, but it's never equal. It's never been higher than the euro.
No, but I think that it's because it's so low right now that there's a
it feels expensive here. Yeah.
But really, at the end of the day, I think it is substantially cheaper.
Before we move on, you never gave us your answer for the biggest misconception.
Okay, well, my answer comes from being on the phone or Zooms or whatever with people for work, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like when we were in Italy in particular, here not so much, but when we were in Italy, I would get, oh, I'm so jealous. Like, I think that people wanted to believe that it was just this very glamorous, beautiful, perfect situation, which I'm going to be really honest, it was on a lot of levels, but people don't think about this stuff that's hard.
Well, yeah, living here is a lot different than vacationing here.
Yeah.
Anywhere.
Yeah.
Anywhere in Europe. Anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also get the sense when I talk to people that I still work with from the US that they think I'm like on vacation.
Yeah. So I think that for me is that like, and I'm always like, well, yeah, it is amazing. It is great. Like, I'm not going to discount it because I love it,
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, there's a whole slew of things that people don't think about that are not easy, which will transition to our next question. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
What was the hardest part about moving here or about living here?
In Italy, it was the bureaucracy and just the unknown of the bureaucracy and not knowing if things were going to get approved and not knowing what you needed to do because there was never any clear path.
There's not a hardcore standard.
No,
for
it's just
so
it's
much.
who you're dealing with, the mood they're in. You never really get a clear vision of what you need.
Yeah.
It's just the luck of the draw sometimes. It's the color of your skin. I don't know what it is, but the uncertainty was the biggest problem for me. Not here in the Netherlands.
No.
The Netherlands is straightforward. You know what you need. You got it. You get it.
Yeah.
Like, it's so easy.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was probably, this sounds maybe obnoxious, but like the fatigue after a few months of everything being new and having to approach every process brand new.
Mm-hmm.
And like, even with help and advice, like I moved under great circumstances. Like I wasn't alone in any of it. But even with people like offering help, like you're still on your own. You're still on your own. And there's still a little bit of like, okay, well now I have to figure out, how to, I don't know. It's like every decision from like, okay, which train do I take to like which bus connects to it at the right time.
Mm-hmm.
And then which grocery store am I going to go to? And what type of debit cards will they accept there? And like all of that all day. After a couple of months, I was like trying to find a routine. But I think that was hard, was like finding a sense of routine and things that I didn't even necessarily think were problematic, but it was just this like constantly being new and making decisions. Like by the time I had to figure out like how to just get my car serviced, which isn't a complicated process. It's just different. I was like, okay, that's it. That's my last new thing for a while. Like I'm done now.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like, it's a weird thing because it's kind of exhilarating because it's like everything that is essentially gone in terms of like process, right? I mean, because even going to the grocery store, your dad the other day, he was like, well, in Ireland, we bag our own groceries. And I was like, well, yeah, here too. And it's so weird because, I'll go with my sisters.
Do they still not bag their own groceries in America?
I don't think so. I mean, I don't think he would have said that if they did, right?
Yeah. No.
But even like I'll go with my sisters to the grocery store when they're visiting and I'll like hand them a bag and like it's not even a thought process. I just hand them a bag while I'm paying or vice versa. Yeah. And it's like, and they'll just kind of stand there and I'm like, no, you got to
put the stuff in it.
That doesn't happen by magic.
It's a lot. It's really starting over.
Yeah. It's like being an adult in going to kindergarten again, where it's like every single thing you have to figure out how it works, how you behave, because even like, customs make you want to do different things. Like you do not walk into somewhere here and not say hello.
Yeah.
If you're walking into a small shop and you don't say hello, you'll get stink eye.
In any country.
Yeah.
Here, you just have to. Meghan, you've been here just over a year now.
Mm-hmm.
You just got your car service. So it's still there.
Yeah.
It's still there.
Yeah.
No, for sure. And like, even also a little different, but just like the sense I feel in the Netherlands sometimes with like government processes or HR processes, the like, oh, it's fine, we'll figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know, like with ordering a debit card, I was like, what do you mean it's going to show up in a week in a separate envelope?
Right.
From your password.
From my password.
Right.
And we'll just figure it out. And you do just figure it out. But in the beginning, you're getting used to these new processes. And there's just a sense of like, oh, it's okay. It'll all work out. And I wouldn't trust that. And then you learn to.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's not how our American brains are trained.
Yeah.
And we are proactive Americans that are like, okay, well, so I need this, this, and this, and then I'll have this. And it's not always that black and white.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like
Claire.
my brain's starting to shift. Is yours?
Yeah.
It's too early for you.
But I still work in the same job,
Right.
which still requires the same thought process for me in that. But I think I've gotten much better about, look, my passport could come anytime or
show
could
up
not.
one day.
Like, you never know. So yeah, I think it's a bit of a balancing act.
Mm-hmm.
But what was your favorite or biggest surprise about moving or living here in Europe? Like, so Italy and Netherlands.
My favorite thing and the biggest surprise was how, and it's also because I stopped working for many years, is how quickly I turned around to European lifestyle of taking the afternoon off and nothing is going to fall
Taking
apart.
a lunch break, not taking the whole after. Well, you maybe did, but Europeans just take a long lunch break.
The unlimited sick time, though.
Yeah.
Speaking of like falling
Quality of
into the quality of life, like not being stressed when I'm sick is huge, and not having to count the days. And I think in the Netherlands it's required by law, but most places, if you get sick on your vacation, you get your vacation days back.
Really?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Because they care. They care.
Yeah.
Well, and I think that particularly here, I don't know how it is in Italy, but mental health is an enormous part of everything here. So, people that have had burnout leaves, people that have taken months and months to take care of their mental health, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's huge. And it makes a huge difference because then they come back and they're happier and everybody works better together. And it's really nice.
And there's no postal. There's no going postal when you can just say, you know what? It's too much.
Yeah. That's nice.
I think for me, I guess it's kind of the same thing as you, but like more in Italy than here, but like a true deep appreciation of food.
Yes.
Of food and wine. I worked on the vineyard when I was in wine school, and I just remember like understanding like the blood, sweat, and tears that goes behind making wine and how it's such a cultural thing. And then going to school and having my teacher say, well, it's like not having a bottle of wine on the table is like not having my uncle there. Like it's just part of life, and the quality of food and the seasonal aspect of food, and like just it being such a source of pride as well in Italy. And I think in France too, probably in a lot more places than that, but just that introduction to, it's health, it's sustenance, it's culture, it's life. It's, it's like, it becomes this bigger thing. It's not the easy way to grab food when you're running out in your car, the way that I used to kind of think about it, All right, we're moving on.
Okay.
Now, this one might be weird, so you can tell me what to do something else. What do you think has changed about you since you've moved?
I think I've adopted, not to go with stereotypes, but I think I have adopted more of the Dutch directness And I really appreciate it. Like when I moved, people were like, hey, the Dutch are direct. Like, don't take it personally. And I don't. And I appreciate it. And I think sometimes when I'm talking to people from back home, they're like, wow, that was very direct. And I'm like, yeah, I'm into it.
Well, I think that when people said that to me, I in my head went rude. And it's not rude because people are very, very kind and happy here and go out of their way to say hello and to make eye contact with you. And it's not rude. It's
real.
Just, it's direct. Yeah.
It's like we're not going to beat around the bush to try to spare your feelings to tell you something.
Right.
I like that.
Yeah.
Well, what's changed about you?
I think I'm calmer. I think that, and granted, since we've lived here, a lot of things have happened. I mean, I think COVID and everything that went with that. But I think that there are very few things where, and I might like have a moment of, my Hollywood background drama coming out. But I think in general, it's just like, I don't worry as much as I used to. I don't sit there and, plan for worst case scenario every second. And I feel like I'm less reactive.
Yeah. I agree. I think that I was going to say, I feel like now I have moments, but I feel like I'm more patient than I used to be.
Mm-hmm.
But now hearing you say that, I'm less fearful than I used to be. I used to be afraid of people breaking into the house. I used to be afraid of people breaking into the car. I'd have cameras at all the doors. We've got robbed several times in America.
And in Florence.
But I never was afraid in Florence.
Yes.
I was so fearful of living in America, like my kid going to school, there was fear every day. And I don't have fear. I sleep. I don't care what's going on in the house. If something falls, I'm not like, oh, somebody's in the house. Like, it just doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah, I feel safe. I would say I've had a couple of times where there have been like weirdos like out at night or whatever, or I'm like walking home or whatever, but I don't know. In those instances, it feels the same, but generally speaking, day to day, I feel quite safe. Yeah.
I'll tell you who does feel safe, and that's Dylan, because he's been in Europe since third grade.
Mm-hmm.
Third grade was his last year in America. So he has not, and he was young. So coming here to Italy and then to here, he did the active shooter drills for the first couple years in America, but that left his head really quickly.
Right.
And so he has grown up without metal detectors when you go into the school, without fences around the school, without doors being locked, without any fear of anything going on, and a lot less bullying than I saw in schools in America, and a lot less bullying than like my niece and nephew have seen in schools in America. So I feel like it's just been he doesn't have fear.
Right.
In that sense.
About that sense. Yeah.
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 All right. I have more questions, but I might save them for another time.
Yeah, let's do a part 2.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's expectation versus reality for us for today.
So the moral of the story is you should move to Europe.
Highly recommended. But thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next time.
Check out the website, www.thegetawayswithaz.com. And we'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.